Welcome, and thank you so much for tuning into the Future of Learning Design, a Visionary Framework conference presentation. What is learning design? What does that phrase really mean? There are many components to learning design. The individuals who participate in the learning process, or as we call them, the learners, the resources or environments used to achieve learning objectives, or how the learning takes place, whether it be online, classroom, or blended, the sequence of learning activities that should take place, or the curriculum, the appeal, effectiveness, and efficiency of instruction for a learning experience, or how the learners feel as a result of that learning, how they respond to the material, whether objectives were met and in the timeline specified. And then you have the actualization of learning theory. How was the material presented? What methods were used? When you combine all of these things, you get learning design. When you think about the appeal, effectiveness, and efficiency of learning design, you ask yourself the question, how do you measure learning design? The answer to that question is learning analytics. According to Wikipedia, learning analytics is the measurement, collection, analysis, and reporting of data about learners and their contexts for the purpose of understanding and optimizing learning and the environment in which it occurs. If you throw a stone in any direction, most likely someone will have an opinion on the best use for learning analytics. With the consistent evolution of learning design, there are always new ways in which to measure that design. Let's discuss a few of the emerging trends in learning analytics. Adaptive learning is described as a learning method in which computers are used as interactive teaching devices to orchestrate the allocation of human and mediated resources according to the needs of each learner, according to Adaptive Learning 2018. In simple terms, adaptive learning allows for individual learners to follow an educational path that ebbs and flows with their needs. Predictive analytics utilizes various methods such as data mining, statistics, modeling, and artificial intelligence to gather current data for analysis and make future predictions, according to Predictive Analytics 2017. Predictive analytics can be used to identify learners that may be struggling with certain topics and allow educators and learning designers alike the ability to tailor their approach using adaptive learning. Predictive analytics also affords learning designers the opportunity to have creative direction when it comes to the design and redesign of programs and courses. Machine learning is a method in which most of us use daily without giving it much thought. It provides computers the ability to learn new behavior based upon experience and significantly reduces the human factor in learning design. Machine learning takes large amounts of data and quickly produces results that can be used in predictive analytics. All of the trends we've discussed are also influenced and enhanced by and interconnected with various other trends. Discourse analytics, or DA, social learning analytics, SLA, and semantic social networking analytics, SSNA, are closely related to one another. These three trends aid designers to take a detailed look at the interactions of learners. According to Discourse Analytics 2018, DA argues that human behavior is based on how a person thinks and their attitudes towards certain topics rather than demographics, while SLA argues that learning itself is a social activity. It is the gathering of information and making sense of it through social interaction. When you add in the online perspective, it's learners gathering information from the internet to work out problems arising in their environments. This brings in SSNA, which opens the door of social networking. If you think about the reason that people join social networking sites, the core is common interest, whether it be personal, professional, or educational. However, knowing how and why a group of people have come together together to form a community can provide valuable data regarding their interests and values, which can be helpful when designing their educational needs. Discourse analytics, social learning analytics, and semantic social networking analytics are extremely beneficial tools to consider when thinking about the future of learning design. It's easy to speak in theory about how these emerging trends can change the face of learning design, but the truth of the matter is it's not just theoretical. There are examples of these trends being used in our everyday lives. Educational institutions like Kaplan University is utilizing adaptive learning techniques in their personalization of their exam prep questions. They allow students to have a personalized learning profile that filters questions according to their knowledge level, and this is extremely beneficial to the learners. Additionally, Dreambox is utilizing predictive analytics to feed the adaptive learning environment for a math program they administer for grade students K through 8, and they are reporting an increase of student achievement as one of their many successes. ASOS is an online European clothing store that utilizes predictive analytics to recommend clothing styles and brands to shoppers based upon previous purchases, views, and likes of certain items. For those of us who use Instagram and Facebook, we're all familiar with the ads that miraculously seem tailored to us. You log in, and the next thing you know, something you just searched or shopped for is showing up in your feed, along with recommendations for similar products. This is a great example of a merge of semantic social networking with machine learning and predictive analytics. And let's not forget Google, who always seems to know what you're looking for. They remember what you've last searched and also make recommendations for similar products and can offer product reviews. Waze is also utilizing machine learning and predictive analytics with their navigation mobile app. The app is able to detect your location and analyze common routes you've taken at a specific time of day over time. Using this data, they're able to notify users of traffic hazards and suggest alternate routes. A literature review was performed to examine existing research on learning analytics trends. The literature included in this review includes comparisons of adult learners, self-regulated learning, literacy, learning proficiencies in adaptive teaching in formal, non-formal, and informal education institutions, and scaling student success with predictive analytics, reflections after 4 years in the data trenches. The commonality in the literature is the emphasis on the enhancements to adult teaching and learning. All the resources conclude that adaptive learning and predictive analytics create personalized learning for the student. The review of the work revealed obvious advantages to training when coupled with newer learning analytics trends. Students, especially adult learners, responded well with learning was personalized. Adaptive learning presented the student with a sense of control or influence over the learning program, while the predictive analytics allowed for the assigning of relevant content. There is still room for further research and development in this learning arena. However, there is substantial evidence to support the implementation of the newer technology to enhance training and learning design. Both articles within the literature review highly favored the implementation of new technology to best effectively personalize learning. While the information stated in both readings referenced strong reasons to support adaptive learning and predictive analytics, what is not discussed is the impact the technology can impose on human resources. It begs the question, will employees still have a job, or will machine learning become the new employee? The Harvard Business Review advises machine learning algorithms are predicted to replace people throughout all industries. However, the silver lining to this concern is that the hardest activities to automate with currently available technologies are those that involve managing and developing people. This has a 9% automation potential, or those apply expertise to decision-making, planning, or creative work, which is represented by only 18%. Computers are great at optimizing, but not so great at goal setting or even using common sense. In layman's terms, machines are tactical while humans are strategic. So with all of the knowledge we have on emerging trends in learning analytics, including real-life examples of its use and literary reviews of its research, what do we do with that? What does this actually mean for the future of learning design, and what does it look like? What is that vision we see when we think about the future, and how can we achieve that vision? And once we achieve the vision, what are the actual benefits and who are the beneficiaries? All of these are great questions when thinking about a framework of the future for learning design. When I thought about the future of learning design and what my visionary framework would be, it seemed so vague of a question. How can I truly think about the future of something so vast and varied? I took a more narrow approach and answered the question, what is the future of learning design for my company? I was able to identify a learning process or experience that currently would benefit from a redesign. The new hire employee program at my company is outdated and rooted in theories and practices from the past. With the use of some of the emerging trends, I've come up with a framework I think will truly create a personalized learning environment. Using discourse, social learning, and semantic social networking analytics, each employee would have an employee learner profile built to serve as a baseline of their prior knowledge. It would allow us to gather data about things such as their self-sufficiency, open-mindedness, discipline, motivation, and growth mindset, just to name a few. Adaptive learning techniques would be used to help learners progress through course materials. As each learner embarks on their learning journey through the decided sequence of material, use of adaptive learning will allow for material to be presented in various ways depending on the way the learner learns best. Adaptive learning will also be used to allocate resources to the learner, whether it be from the instructor or additional computer-based training. With adaptive learning filling the void for engagement and personalized scaffolding, predictive analytics will aid in identifying the strengths and areas of opportunity for learners and personalizing their coaching needs. With the use of predictive analytics, we can determine what topics may pose a challenge for certain students and adapt their learning sequences to provide additional support. We can also determine learners that are mastering subjects and tasks quickly and efficiently, and identify them as potential coaches and leaders in their future role. Our current use of the Exonify Learning platform allows us to introduce a sense of ownership of the learning dynamic for the learner. They can choose their own games during their training time, but with the use of machine learning, we could also introduce the concept of training recommendations, sort of like e-commerce sites. Imagine upon login by the learner based upon previously completed tasks and learning, prior plays of specific games, a tailored learning experience suggestion that still follows the specified learning sequence but doesn't feel stagnant or stale. Machine learning opens a different set of doors and provides the opportunity to explore the learning environment in a more social setting. Overall, data and learning analytics are helpful tools when it comes to learning evaluation. However, with learning theory constantly evolving, it is necessary to push the envelope on instructional design methods and technologies. There are many emerging trends such as predictive analytics, machine learning, and adaptive learning that are currently being explored by educational institutions and businesses alike. The higher education community is finding that adaptive learning systems have potential for accommodating student differences in an increasingly diverse population. Adaptive learning systems address this demographic variability by customizing course content according to differences in student skill sets, according to ScholarWorks 2008. My visionary framework for the future of learning design is to enhance gamification techniques with machine learning and utilize predictive analytics along with discourse and social networking analytics to create an adaptive learning environment that is truly personalized for each learner. Creating learner profiles using social learning and semantic social networking analytics add a sense of community and connection among learners and provides immediate data to be analyzed for future predictive analytics and adaptive learning courses and programs. I'd like to consider the benefits of being able to adjust to individual learner needs based on student profile, past learning behaviors, and current interaction with the learning environment, and predict their success in a certain area or course. Thank you again for tuning into this conference presentation. Please utilize this page as a reference for ideas and articles mentioned throughout the presentation. I hope that you enjoyed it and look forward to your thoughts on the future of learning design. Thank you.